Hello, good afternoon. It is January 28th here with the team on Ask Us Anything, episode number 2. In this one, we've gotten a lot of questions, both from clients and online, about Instagram and how to specifically use it for business. We know a lot of the kids are out there using Instagram these days. How do we actually use it to generate attention for ourselves, as well as possibly generate new customers or clients for our business as well? So we have Erin off camera who will help moderate, but what do you guys want to talk about first? Where should we start?
I am going to start by saying, if you have any questions, and you can ask us questions anytime in the comment section, because I think we have figured out a way to actually see that the comments are there this time.
Cool.
So please don't hesitate to ask if you have questions about Instagram. But I could start too and just talk a little bit about why this topic kind of got brought up. So one of our clients wants to start using Instagram, and it was exciting, but it was kind of like, oh yeah, can we get an Instagram account? And there's so much more to it than just, can we get an Instagram account? Let me sign you up quick, you know? We want to talk to the clients about what the purpose is that they are going to start this new platform. We want them to know that you don't just pick up an Instagram account and you know, start putting, you know, pictures of everybody's cats on it or dogs on it. We want to make sure that you're using it for business purposes, to meet a certain objective, to show a certain thing, and kind of develop a strategy for using the platform. So that is my first step when it comes to getting a new account for any of the businesses. You know, why are you getting Instagram, and what will be the purpose of it? So
Cool.
yeah, that's my first step.
All right. What's the purpose? Not just having it to happen? What's the purpose
Yeah.
of having it? Okay.
Well, and it takes up time. It takes time to do. And if somebody has to like sit and think of, okay, what am I going to put on Instagram, but you don't really have a strategy for what you're going to put on Instagram on the regular, then it's hard to figure it out, and you spend way more time actually trying to figure out what you're going to put on Instagram than just being able to like, oh, who did this because this meets the objective, and post, you know. So think of why first.
All right.
Yeah.
What else? What else we got?
Sophie, maybe you can tell us a little bit more just about the platform in general.
Yeah, so I think also when it comes to Instagram, it's important to have like an aesthetic before going into it. So figuring out how you want to brand it and have your Instagram be perceived. So like a lot of bloggers use like certain filters to like really whiten up their photos to make it light and airy feeling. So yeah, I think it's really important to plan how you want your voice to be portrayed when you're using your Instagram as well.
Yeah. Well, and one thing to think about is just like the basic mechanics of Instagram. Most people, I would say, 95% of people post to Instagram from their phones. There is ways to post on Instagram now without your phone. If you have your Instagram account connected to your Facebook account, you have the ability to post and schedule posts from the Creator Studio inside Facebook. So that's a big step in the right direction for the platform, because you used to have to just like go and do it, in real time, which can be sometimes a little difficult for people. But another thing is that Instagram also features stories. So Sophie, tell them what stories are.
Well, stories are permanent pieces of content that live on your profile, but instead of a story that usually would disappear after 24 hours, you can save it to a story highlight, and then it becomes based on your profile forever until you delete it. So it doesn't expire like it usually would.
Yeah. One thing I love about stories is actually like following along a story. You know, like if one of our clients has an event coming up, you know, like we might story the setup of the event, the finished pre-event setup, the actual event happening, something cool happening post-event, like, and then people that actually view the story can see, like, ooh, that's what happened. Like, look at all the cool things. So, I don't know, I love stories. Like, I usually go to Instagram, like, scroll up for, like, 5-6 images, and then I, like, go to the stories and, like, see who I feel like searching.
You can jazz it up with, like, locations, tags, stickers. Make them look
Hashtags.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Spence, how do you feel about stories?
I think it's one of the only platforms where you can actually see individually who's watching your stuff. And to me, that's really interesting because it can collect the data, and the story's reach as far as who sees it seems to be higher than just those who see you in their Instagram feed. So what that tells us, I think, is that Instagram wants more people to do more stories because it's mostly captive to their platform, right? Because if somebody does a photo, they can share that photo on Twitter, Facebook, what doesn't really matter, right? But if they do things within Instagram stories, oftentimes it is within just that platform.
Right.
And that's relegated, I guess, only to that one platform. So Instagram wants you to continue to do stories there. And what I like is when I don't do that much interesting stuff during the weeks, a lot of it's just the same old thing. But when I go on trips, I like to do stories just to show what's happening and talk to a little bit as to what's behind the scenes, what we can anticipate, random travel stuff. And it's kind of cool to poll people. So I like that interaction between asking people questions or having them do a slider to say, how are you feeling on a scale of not so good to very good. And just get their assertions, because what I feel like you can do is have virtual conversations with many people at once. Well, they'll respond to your story and they'll give their feedback, and then you know what it is that they feel like. So as an example, I had said recently I had a trip where I flew out early in the morning and then back late at night, and I said, have you ever flown a location then flown back that exact same day? And quite a few people piped in, either said yes or no, so that gives me some points to talk about with people. So it's not direct business development or people reaching out and saying, hey, I saw your story, let's do business together, but at least gives me a good thing to talk about with people when I see them the next time I see them.
Branding.
Yeah.
Stay on top of mind.
Yeah.
Oh man, I was just going to say something and then I forgot.
We can talk about cold outreach a little bit. You want to talk about DMs and how you can get to people that way?
Yeah, I think DMs are really important for connecting with businesses. So depending on what your purpose is for your Instagram, say you want to reach out to companies that are interested in a similar field as you are, and then you can not only build your connections but potentially do like different brand deals, sponsorships, or just general outreach to get to know people. So that's one way I think typically DMs are used, is to reach out to businesses to connect and hopefully grow your brand.
Something I think is kind of interesting too is we just actually had a client ask earlier this morning about this. So they do consumer level stuff, so they're not B2B, they're not business to business. They actually sell to customers, individuals, and they're trying to figure out how to best do either an influencer or partnership campaign, and that they're a pretty big company. So they're trying to figure out, if we take these big brands and try to partner with them, what does that look like? And you can go to a website and you can find some kind of random email address that would be partners or whatever, right? Like whatever you find to try to reach out to somebody who's in charge of doing business with other companies. But I suggested that probably the most expeditious way we could do it is try to find that company's Instagram account and then direct message whoever is in control, because most companies, if they're good, like, they pay a lot of attention to what's happening on Instagram, because that not only is that a way to do customer service, but it's also a really good way to gather customer sentiment and see how they're feeling and see what people are up to. So that's the first thing we're trying with that client, is because with these huge companies, we really don't even know where to start, but we feel like Instagram, there's at least one person or a team that's controlling that communication with the public. So that might be a good way to expeditiously start conversations with people.
Yeah. Sophie, have you been DM'd lately?
Yeah. Well, I got an email, but it like stemmed from a DM, so.
Well, tell us about it.
Okay, well, I'm super into makeup, so I have a makeup Instagram and have been put on a few PR lists from companies, but recently I DM'd a company that I was a fan of their makeup brushes and just by reaching out to them, they emailed me back, and then now they're sending me PR for me to try their products as well. So pretty cool.
Yeah. So from the company side of things, you know, like to be able as a business to get people who are, I would say, overly interested in a product. Like I might be interested in your makeup thing, but you're like really interested in the makeup thing. To like for them to be able to reach out to you and say like, hey, use our stuff. If you like it, talk about it. And that's, I think Instagram is such a great platform for that to happen. I've seen your like stories where you like put makeup on and stuff, and I think that's super interesting. You should add some polls to that.
Yeah.
Like, which eye do you like better? Left or right? I'm a sucker for polls. Like, I feel like I answer all of your polls. Because that's, I don't know. I like taking surveys.
People like to give their opinion, right? So
They
why
do.
not ask them for it as opposed to just being one-sided, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, basically then the company from me gets free marketing, whatever the
Right.
cost of the product is, but
yeah.
I show it off like no other. Like, look what I got in the mail today.
Yeah. You know, and I mean, do you know much more about like how the levels go after that? You know, like companies can pay people to do things.
Yeah, once people are like bigger influencers, like into the thousands and thousands of followers, then they can start getting paid sponsorships, and usually that's based on like how many followers you have or like how many engagements you get on your posts. So the more you have, the more you'll get paid. So those like mega influencers get paid quite a bit just to post a picture with the product.
Right. Pretty crazy.
Pretty cool.
A lot of people ask us about video too on Instagram. There are many options for video on Instagram. You can do video in your stories, and those can be up to like 15 seconds. And then if you post a video on your actual Instagram feed, those can be up to 60 seconds. Anything over 60 seconds on your Instagram feed, you can post it, and then the audience can continue to watch it on IGTV, which is like Instagram TV. And then that goes until, that can be as long as an hour, 60 minutes. So, you know, it's not all just pretty pictures. You can do cool videos and stuff too. So, yeah. Is anyone asking us questions?
Do we have a moderator over there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about linking?
Oh, yeah, sure. So Instagram is a little picky when it comes to including links on stuff. So you can't just like post an image and then talk about it a little bit and then put a link in the actual body of the description. But you can put a link in your bio if you're just like a basic person who uses Instagram. If you're like super famous and I think, 10,000 followers, something like that, there's a limit. Once you have a lot of followers on Instagram, you have the ability to link via your stories. So, for example, like if you're Kim Kardashian and you're talking about one of your many products, you can post something in your story, and then at the bottom it just says swipe up and whatever you were talking about in the story, and it links right to whatever you were talking about. So you gotta be, like I said, you gotta be pretty fancy for that, but a lot of companies probably have the ability to get there pretty quickly if they have a product that people are interested in. So yeah. Otherwise, links can also go in ads.
Or
You
you
know.
can use like Linktree.
Yeah. I don't know what that is. Talk about Linktree from the end.
It's essentially like another website that you can set up to, it's one link in your bio, and you go to this website and log in as Amplify, and you can associate a post with a specific link. So people click on one link in your bio and it opens up something that kind of looks like an Instagram gallery, but each post is clickable then. So you only have to manage this one page instead of updating that link in your profile every
Hmm.
time. But there's
Nice.
other things other than Linktree that you can do that with.
So, a lot of third-party vendors
Yeah.
that you can do that stuff
Mhm.
with. Yeah. But yeah, Instagram's pretty fun. A lot of hashtag opportunities. You know, it's a good platform for searching hashtags. You can drop locations, and you can post up to 10 images per post. We're working with a client right now that is that their focus is going to be to feature their employees on their Instagram page. So we'll get pictures of the employees, talk a little bit about them in the description, and then, post up to 10 images of them. And it just kind of shows a little bit more about the business, who works there, and just a little bit more about them specifically. So it's pretty cool. Yeah.
All right.
Well-
Well, I guess we exhausted our tips for today. Cool.
Anything else you want to talk about,
No?
I mean, we're good?
Good if you are. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks for tuning in. See you next time. Bye.